All right, we want to welcome you today to our webinar, Enhance Agriculture Student Learning Through Bovine Simulations. I'm really excited to have you here and want to talk to you about some of our features that we have within the different simulations of our agricultural products. So really thank you for taking the time to participating. We have a large group who's interested in this today, and so we really appreciate you taking the time. So to get us started, before we get going here, just a few housekeeping pieces. We have a place up in the corner there for you to do any chats if you need any questions answered. I usually will answer and have a time at the end, but there is the ability for you to do that up in the corner as well. This is going to be recorded, so we will be sending you this as well. So thank you for taking the time today. So to get started, welcome to the Enhanced Agriculture Student Learning Through Bovine Simulators webinar that we're going to be doing today. So just to introduce myself, my name is Jamie McIntosh. I am the product manager for all of our agriculture products as well as our welding products. And we work very closely with NAAE. And I'm also a former educator and have some certifications within agriculture, artificial insemination, so on and so forth. So really enjoy working and trying to help bring new products into the classroom. So a little bit about Reality Works. We are in a lot of different schools throughout the United States and around the world. We have a lot of different simulators as well as agriculture models in the classroom. And we are a partner again with different educational organizations that we work with, from FFA to National Association of Agriculture Educators, and just really enjoy getting into the classroom, seeing what the needs are, and then trying to help in that world. So all of our products are interactive, and they also include curriculum with them as well. So what we're going to talk about today is really that agriculture area within the CTE world, career and technical education pathways, and want to really hit on the agriculture side and really focus on bovine and really hit that hard today within the animal science world. So I want to talk a little bit about this idea that we have and what we do here, and I like to call it research-based learning. So what we do is not only do we give the products kind of and look for what the products are needed, but then we also go and we do a lot of research on our own to make sure they're hitting the mark in your classroom. They're actually not just something that you use once in a while, but it's something that is a very effective tool within your classroom. So some of the challenges that we've seen in agriculture is that less students are coming from the farm. There's less options for going out to the field for study. One of the things we talk a lot about with educators is just that it's hard for them to get out to the field. It's hard for them to get to the barn, if you want to say, because one, your seasons are different. While you're in school, not all of the kind of the calving or the ability to work with the cows on what different issues they may have, you're kind of off and not in sync. A lot of times you have the summers off, when a lot of times that's when it would be great for you to be able to interact with the animals and be able to do that. So your schedules are off. It's also something where we have less and less students coming from the farm today. The family farm is changing, and so a lot of times that background knowledge that educators once had or privy to have, where their students knew certain things, it's not as much known anymore. They don't have that background knowledge, so you have to do a lot more teaching in to that way. And there's this need for bringing more learning into the classroom, being able to do it in the classroom because they don't have that background knowledge. Have to kind of teach them from things that maybe 5, 10, 15 years ago you weren't having to teach as much because more students were understanding or coming from that background. And there's more ag-related career opportunities for skilled workers today than there ever has been. And so with that increase of need for agriculture workers in a lot of different fields, it's a challenge because you need to be able to get them trained up for the learning that they need. So for you as an instructor, there's other challenges, just not even including just the farm, Also, you need to create individualized learning. And that can be difficult at times. You have to manage the classroom and the students effectively. And when you're working with, especially concepts that you are either new to the students or could be dangerous to students or are involving different animals, that is sometimes difficult to manage effectively. And so how can we help in that case? And then that goes along right with the keep safety a priority. As you're using, and we'll talk about injection state, needles with students, as you're using the different types of chemicals in some instances, whatever you're doing, how is it aligning and are you helping to keep safety a priority? And then aligning to standards and educational best practices, always working to try to bring new standard or keep the standards and then keep quality learning in the classroom. So those are all challenges that you face, and we want to try to help in that world. So why do simulation and why do hands-on learning? Well, here are some of the bigger reasons that we have kind of worked through, and what we hear from the classroom and from educators is a lot of times the simulations that we work on here at RealityWorks is because if you don't use simulation, it can just be too big. Being able to understand and get onto the farm, being able to do certain type of training and skill work with your students can just be too big where you can't do it. You don't have the farm available. So can we bring simulation or hands-on learning into the classroom so then that thing that's just too big out there can still be learned in a classroom setting? Sometimes it's too costly. In this sense, when you are doing bovine injection, if you're asking a farmer if you can come out and do injections, that could just be too costly to that farmer. They may look at that and say, nope, we do not feel like it is going to be beneficial for us to allow you to have your students try this on our animals, because there is a cost to that meat if they do it wrong, or that cow if they do it wrong. Sometimes it's just too dangerous. There are certain aspects of what you were teaching in the classroom that it is a dangerous thing, and some students may have problems with it, and some may families may look at it and say, your parents may look and say, hey, that's just too dangerous. I don't want my students doing it. Later on when they get a career, but not now. And so that can also be a situation where it's just too dangerous. The other side is it can sometimes be too dangerous for the animals as well. By having students who are unskilled and untrained, yes, we need to train them, but at the time doing it might just be a little too dangerous for that animal. And so you need to do that simulation, you need to do that practice before you do the real thing. Another one is too repetitive. Doing something multiple times, and if you have classes, and I've been in classes where you have 30 students, sometimes 35 students at times, to have them repeatedly do something on the real thing can again be dangerous, can be hurtful to the animal, can be just something that's not really applicable or able to do in the classroom. And then too difficult to manipulate. There are some things where the skills that students need to learn can be very difficult to manipulate, especially with large crowds, with classroom sizes that they are, different things. And so how can we simulate it so they can get that difficulty and be able to do that manipulation and get an understanding of it before they do the real thing? And so it's that practice and ability to do those things that we really bring forward with our bovine simulations. So at the same time, I have a picture here of some of the research-based realism that we try to bring to our products. And we're going to show you some of our products today, but want to just show these are pictures of myself and our engineers who have worked and actually done the research. We've actually gone out and gotten certified to do AI or artificial insemination, and to be able to learn the technique and then make sure that our products are as real as possible. We also have a picture there of we actually went and were able to get different ears from a butcher, being able to work with those different ears to be able to make sure that our product has that same feel and the same skin texture and ability to do ear tagging and also implanting like you would do on the real thing. And so trying to create that realism with our simulation and what we do. So I want to talk through kind of some skills that you can learn through simulation, and I'm using some of our products that we have to kind of talk through this. So we kind of look at 4 different skills that we can have in simulation: skill development, skill refinement, skill performance, and then skill sharing. And so what I'm going to talk about is using our bovine breeder and using really artificial insemination as the overarching focus here, how you can use skill development with classroom instruction. You can move to uterus sample training, simulation practice, and then there are times to actually, there's nothing like the live thing. And so there is that opportunity to do the real thing. So in this case, the classroom instruction a lot of times can start with teaching, and we have curriculum that focuses on that teaching, but there's also going into the uterus sample training, and in this case, using live uteruses that you have that you can either buy or maybe get from a butcher and be able to share with that. And at the same time, we have a cow uterus model. And so there is advantage to using the real thing and let students be able to try it. But we also have a fiberglass model that allows students to be able to see all the different textures, see inside of what they're actually doing. And it is spread out in the form of what you would a lot of times see within the cow's an actual reproductive tract. And so it's in the formation of that, allowing you to kind of see it, and it's in its natural size in that sense. With the real uterus, a lot of times it's all bunched up, and you can spread it out, but in this case, the live model there allows you then again to repetitively use that product over and over again, and not have to throw it away after so many uses, not have to throw it away because of it being kind of old or the smell getting too much in this sense. So that is one of those features there. By allowing you to use simulation, by allowing you to use learning aids, you can have that repetitive usage over and over again and get students to be able to see it, as well as instead of having to cut it up, you can then open it up and be able to see inside of it as well. Now, the other one here is simulated practice, where with our bovine breeder, we actually allow you to simulate artificial insemination and train on pregnancy palpation as well. So it allows you to be able to use the practice in the classroom for students to get that repetition over and over again and get that understanding from doing that. Now, to finish there, then there is that place for live practice. One thing I want to say, we never really would say that you shouldn't do the real thing, that it is important to actually do live practice. And so these are the different places where, yes, there is a time and place for that. Now, some schools, you won't have that ability to do it. So the next best thing is always going to be that simulation. For some schools, you may get one shot at it, one opportunity. And so that would be the place for you to be able to get to that point. So let's talk about some important skills for this. And in this case, one of our customers talks about how simulators allow students to get real life skills to help learn skills in any industry. And this is from an ag teacher, an FFA teacher out of North Dakota. And how he has used it is really allowing the students to get that understanding before they go and are able to do the real thing. So want to share with you some of our products here that we have. And so I'm going to actually share my screen here and welcome to our headquarters here, and want to talk through some of our products that we have. The one that I want to kind of focus on first is our bovine breeder. And in this case, our bovine breeder has pregnancy palpation. And so it's not just artificial insemination, it's also focusing on our pregnancy palpation. And in this case, we have the simulator that focuses on the reproductive tract. And so in our simulation here, we have a reproductive tract actually here, allowing for your students to be able to see inside. The hide of this product can be closed or shut so you can't see inside of the animal, but then also opened up so then you can use it as a teachable moment and being able to explain some of these features there. So the reproductive system of a female cow, and then also AI technique, looking at how you actually insert the gun and then make sure that you're getting to the right place in AI technique. And then also palpation, looking at using our palpation kit to be able to see, okay, is this animal ready for insemination? Is this animal, is it too soon? Am I going to waste my semen if I try to impregnate too soon? Or did I go too far and I missed that opportunity to impregnate them and I have to wait for the cycle to go through again? Now, again, why is this important? Because artificial insemination can be too costly. If you miss or you make a mistake, then there's cost to that. You've used that semen up and you have to do it again. It's another 15 to 20 days before you can try to inseminate, and there's costs associated with doing all that. There's also can be too dangerous. If you have students who go in and they don't know what they're doing, it could be the end of that cow's ability to reproduce, depending on their first time, or even people who have done a lot of different insemination. It can be dangerous where they could puncture the cervix, puncture the uterus, to a point where that cow can no longer produce calves. It can be a difficult skill to manage with a lot of different things going on, from the smells to the animal movement to actually having to work inside of the animal, to just the pressure of the muscles working on that arm when you're doing insemination. It can be difficult to manage. And so knowing the skill before you go and have to add all those extra pieces in, that is very important for what you're doing. And then it's important to master. This is a skill that can be very beneficial to the farm and to farmers. And so it's a very important skill to master. It can help reduce costs. It can help build your herd. There's so many things that are important for you to be able to master in that world. So just to kind of give you a little up close kind of look at this, our bovine breeder is one that, again, like I said, has the cover that goes over top. You can actually put your hand into the rectum here, and we have what we call our poop bags that allows you to actually remove the poop and get that out of the way. We have a tail, so you got to make sure you get the tail out of the way when you're doing this. And then inside here, you can reach down and you can grab it. What we have on the inside is we have our cervix here. Our cervix allows you to actually maneuver through the cervix, and there's different rings in here that you have to move in and get past before you'd actually do artificial insemination. Then at the bottom here, we actually have a place where you can put in our CLs and also a fetus for you to be able to do pregnancy testing. Be able to have the students learn the process of how to do artificial insemination correctly, and be able to understand the process as well as the reproductive system. So with that said, want to then move to our next product here, which is our bovine injection simulator. Now, the bovine injection simulator is a product that we have really is brand new this year, and the focus that we have for this product is to get students to understand the ability to do intramuscular injection, subcutaneous injection, and then also blood withdrawal. And so with our product here that we have our cow, and we have a sheet here, our instruction sheet showing where the ligament, the shoulder, and then the vertebrae is, and where your injection site should actually be. Okay. What you want to do in this world is also be able to understand not only where those sites are, but actually do live injections. So in this case here, we have our injection site cover here, where you can have the students be able to understand and get a good knowledge base of what is the areas that they need to be working with. But then when you move it, then you actually have the hide here. You actually have the ability to feel inside, and then you can do actual injections, both sub-Q and also intramuscular. We have the ability to feel for the jugular, we have a foot pump that allows that jugular to pulse. So as I'm feeling for it, I can actually feel that pulse of the jugular and know where to stick into the animal. We have a system that allows you to actually withdraw, in this case, water, not blood, but water, so they can know, did I hit the actual jugular? Am I getting the blood that I need to? And so you can go through those different features there of this product. It is on a stand, so then it is movable and can be moved from place to place. And it also has the ability to be moved up and down. So it has the kind of quote unquote average and actual size that you're looking for a bovine animal. The other piece of it is our ears. We also have ears that allow you to do actual ear tagging on the ear. So in this case, you can tag the ear probably about 5 to 7 times. And then we also have a place where you can actually go in and do implants in the back here. So you can actually do different hormone implants and do that, again, 5 to 7 times in that world as well. These ears are a removable piece, so I can take it off, I can look at it, I can explain how the ear works, where I need to be actually injecting or tagging, and then I can put it on for more options to ear tag. This is also a replaceable piece, so when I've done a lot of ear tags on both sides, or I've done a lot of injections and it's getting worn out, we have replacement pieces that can be used as well for that. So that is kind of our kind of some of the highlights there of our bovine injection. But again, some of the features here that you have to think about and can really help is that simulation like this can be too costly. Again, getting students to understand where they need to be injecting and why they need to be injecting there. The importance of keeping the meat free from any medicine or anything like that is very important. It's a difficult skill to manage, understanding not only what the cow could be doing or how it's moving and things of that nature are very difficult, and it can be difficult to replicate. To be able to do that over and over and have lots of students be able to do intramuscular, do subcutaneous type of injections is very difficult to replicate, because you wouldn't want to do that over and over and over and over again on a cow. So in this case, you can do that repetition very easily on these simulators. And then it's also important to master. If your cow is having some sort of a problem or a disease or any issue, you need to be able to understand that. You need to be able to help that animal so then you don't lose that animal. And so it's important to master for that reason as well. The last one I want to show here is our bovine milking udder simulator, and that's sitting here behind me. Now, again, this is a working model of an udder. Now, in this case, you have the udder here, and it's a little bit farther back here, but it shows and it helps students be able to understand what proper udder care is. What does that mean? It also helps with infection treatment and prevention. And so in this case, our udder simulation here is a product that we have that allows you to actually open up on top of the udder. So again, this stands to the average height of a cow. When it is standing on a table, it can be within kind of that parlor system type feel. We can open up the top, and we actually have our teats and our bottles here that allow us to put different type of milk in here, or different type of disease issues. So you could put milk in here or water and put a food coloring. You could put milk in here, put some red food coloring. So students could actually do the simulation of doing and testing to see, okay, are the teats okay? Oh, there's some redness in one of these. There's blood in this one. So what do I need to do in that case? You can also look and have some of these in here be quality milk, and one of them be able to have some sour milk. Then you can do the California Mastitis test. Have your students be able to do that. By having a cover on this, students won't be able to see which one's which. You can move them around from place to place, and then have to be able to do the California Mastitis test, be able to see, oh, Is there a problem with this milk? Is it healthy milk? What are the problems? What are the issues by doing that? It also has a tail down to the kind of the point of where an average tail would be, so you can kind of understand, okay, when I'm working with this, how should I be moving? Is there a place where I shouldn't be, where I could get kicked, I could get hurt? Safety first in this case. And then with this, you could actually put a milking machine up to it and be able to show students, okay, how do you put this on? What is the purpose of that? And how would you do that as well? So again, as we talk about why these are important, is because this can sometimes be a very repetitive process. And if you don't have the animals on site, there's importance for you to be able to use this, to be able to get that repetition for your students. It's a difficult skill to manage, being able to know all the different features and all the different things. How do I clean? How do I put the teat dip on? What do I need to do to make sure that I'm managing those things as well? And then it can also be just very important to master, because if you have milk that has an infection in it and it goes to bulk tank, it can then ruin the whole batch. And so it's important to master, to understand all the different features there in that case. And it can be difficult to replicate as well, to be able to show this over and over by having the ability to remove bottles, clean bottles, put them in there, have different options there for your students that to replicate those different issues that you have on the farm. That is something that you can do right in the classroom now. So those are all different features that we see as important to you. So we've asked, and we've seen that these products are hugely interesting to you as the customers, as our educators, because again, what you want is to create skilled, focused resources. What you've said you want is memorable experiences, engaging students through the activity of doing, and then also helping with class and time and classroom management. So those are things that you're asking for, and so we really feel we brought these different things to the classroom for you. Now, this is just an example too of, we have curriculum that go with every single one. This shows a PowerPoint slide of our bovine breeder, and we also have certification of completion, that you have an understanding of these types of skills when you have are done with the curriculum and doing the simulations. So last thing here before we kind of sign off for the day is our pathway packages. We have different pathways that you can get, not only these simulators, but also the rest of our products, to really flesh out and become a full kind of program with different training tools, different learning aids, helping you in the classroom as well. So with that, I want to say thank you for your time. And if there are any questions from our participants, really do appreciate you taking the time to be here today. And if you have any questions, you can always go onto our website, which is realityworks.com, and all our products are there for you to be able to see and to kind of interact with us. Some have videos, some share what the different product pieces are, and you can really kind of engage with them on our website as well. So we thank you for taking the time. And one of the questions that comes up is, again, asking with our bovine injection is, how many ears or times can our ears be tagged? And the answer to that is, our product comes with 10 sets of ears. And we say on average, you can tag each side about 5 times per ear. So that's 10. So gosh, if I do my math right, you're probably in the range of about 100 to 140 different tags that you can do, 5 to 7 tags each year, where you're looking at that you could do different tags. So again, a lot of this stuff you can find on our website, which is realityworks.com, and we would be happy to help you. Give us a call. We do have salespeople here that can help as well. So thank you for your time, and hope you have a great day.